So Gervonta Tank Davis and his team just sent Vasily Lomachenko and his team an offer to fight at a lightweight, unification bout. And I don't know how to feel about it. I feel a little bit weird, if I'm being honest with you guys, because as much as I like Tank's, always been a really cool guy. I got to interview him throughout fight week. Very nice individual. No ego, anything like that. He was very kind and whatnot. But that aside, I can't help but, think about what actually happened in the ring, because ultimately I felt like Roach pulled that one out, even without the knockdown that technically wasn't ruled because it was just a knee, apparently, even though those who really watch boxing know that that's an automatic 8 count on any other day. But for Tank, they made an exception. It's just crazy. Tank always talks about the politics of, going to Saudi Arabia, how he talked about that Devin Haney fight because he didn't want to take it because if Turkey, has it in his area and Turkey and Devin have a good relationship and Tank doesn't even know Turkey, they make that fight happen. He doesn't know what kind of crazy stuff is going to happen over there. The politics, the favoritism and everything, and the corruption in the sport of boxing would be against Tank in that situation. But you have a scenario here in the US where he takes a knee and doesn't get penalized for it. So I can honestly understand why Tank doesn't want to fight in Saudi Arabia, because this kind of stuff isn't going to fly there and they would penalize him for taking a knee, in Saudi Arabia. But in the US, clearly Tank gets away with it. And ultimately I felt bad. I just feel bad for Lamont. I feel like he deserved that win. I understand that Tank doesn't have to knock everybody out, but it was still a close fight. And if you factor into the equation that taking a knee should be a 10-8 round in favor of Lamont Roach, then that changes the outcome, right? I'm not saying that Lamont necessarily won that fight decisively in general, everything else considered, but because of that knee situation alone, that should have been factored in. Any kind of mishap within, your eye, this and that, has to be taken care of during the actual end of the round. It can't be in the middle of it. It wasn't even the middle. It was 40 seconds into the round, and ultimately, it wasn't even a cut. It would be different if they clashed heads and then Tank was leaking blood from his eyebrow and it was getting into his eye. That's different as opposed to getting sweat in your eye and having difficulty seeing. And I'm giving Tank the benefit of the doubt because a lot of people don't even believe that. They think that's an excuse. Everything about, the hair, the stuff getting into his eyes, the hair grease. I believe him because, if you've played a sport, you kind of know if you have anything in your hair and you start sweating, it'll get into your eyes. So I believe it, but a lot of people don't. And the bigger, point I'm trying to make here is that Tank is getting away with a lot. They respect Tank. The referee had no strict or stern warning, or just, there shouldn't even be a warning. If he takes a knee, he's got to start counting and stick with that count. There's no exception to be made. It doesn't matter what Tank says, but the ref was listening to what Tank had to say. And I understand that, but it's just not fair to Lamont. It wasn't fair to Lamont. And, I think Tank honestly beats Lamont on his best day. I feel like the best version of Tank beats the best version of Lamont Roach. I still stand by that even after this first fight. I'm just saying, Tank obviously wasn't concentrated. He had a situation where he was changing up the dynamic in the corner, brought his training camp back to, his hometown area. And it was just a lot of stuff going on. And Tank even said, it's on him. So I respect him for understanding that, you have to take accountability for the loss and whatnot. And even though it wasn't a loss, but come on, I feel like he himself even felt like it was a loss for a draw. I feel like Tank will take a draw and see it as a loss in his opinion. That's any competitive mind. And I know Tank's a strong competitor, so I expect him to be better, more focused in the next fight, because you just can't afford to be, talking to the ref, doing all this stuff, because, you can't really see out of your eye. What if it, like I said before, what if it was a cut? You can't go back to the corner when you have a cut, just because it's getting in your eye. You got to deal with it. You got to fight through it. And that's just something that I was surprised from Tank. So let me know down below what you guys think about Lomachenko getting an offer from Gervonta. I think Gervonta beats Loma at this point in his career. And, I don't think Loma cares about boxing, honestly. He even said in his last fight he only made it happen for his father. So I think Tank should honestly, you know, if he gets that fight, it's fine, but he's got to be very active and get back at Lamont Roach, because it's just not the best look as the face of boxing as a champ at 135, you know. So let me know down below what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. But thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.